Hi everyone. So today we're going to talk about how do you protect PDF documents. And when I say protect, I mean how do you put a password or encrypt the document using a password. There are a couple of things that you can do when you're putting a password. You can do things like say, you would want to have the password for viewing the document, right? So maybe you want to put a password so that nobody can open the password until unless they know the password. I'm saying the password so many times, but or you want to maybe you want to encrypt the document so that people can view the document freely, but they cannot edit the document, and they can only edit it if they are the owner of the document or if they know the password, right? And then these are the two things that we're going to discuss on the high level, but there are more nitty gritties, more detailed information that we'll talk about, like controlling who can print the document, who can change the document, who can change it to some extent, maybe say comment on the document or fill the form, but not really change the other parts of the documents, right? So those are things that we're going to discuss today. So let's jump right into this and see how we can do that. Right, so I'm going to open up one of the PDF documents that I was working with before in the last video. So this is an invoice and say what I want to do here to begin with. I want to maybe this is some sort of confidential information, and anyone and everyone who has access to the password can and should be able to open the document, right? So that's what we want to achieve as our goal number one. How do we do this? Once the document is converted to PDF, and in case you're wondering how do you convert a document into PDF, I have done another video in the series of this Acrobat videos. You can click on the link above on the top right here somewhere and go to the series of the videos that I've done on Adobe Acrobat Pro, and you'll find one of the videos as the creation or creating PDF, and review that if you need to. But once you have created the PDF document out of your image or Word or Excel or whatever you want to convert it from, what you want to do is you want to go to all tools. So this is the button on the top left hand side of the screen. Click on all tools. And the one that you're looking for is, of course, protect a PDF. Now, yours might look a little bit different than mine in the order because you can reorder them, you can drag and drop them. So you can also click on view more, which is the button on the bottom left hand side of the screen if you don't see the tool that you're looking for, and it's going to expand the view for you to give you access to all the tools, right? So the one that we need and are interested in is, of course, protect a PDF. So we're going to click on that. And there are a lot of different options here, but the one we are interested in for the purpose of this demo and this lesson today is to protect with password. And that's the option number one here, right? So you click on that, and then it gives you very simple two options, which is, do you want people to require to view the view the document with the password, or do you want to encrypt the document so that people cannot edit the document without knowing the password, right? So which one of these do you want? For our case, we want the document to be protected for viewing. So let's just do that. I'm going to keep it a fairly simple password for this demo, but of course I would want and I would recommend you guys to use a stronger password. As you can see, it gives you a glimpse of that this password is weak, which is fine for now because this is just a demo. But I would encourage you to have a mix of letters, capital letters, lower letters, lower caps letters, numbers, symbols. Have a mix of those, at least 6 to 8 characters, so that it becomes a strong password. That's point number one. Point number two, you need to make sure that the password that you're using, you remember this for sure, because if you don't, then the chances for you to be able to view or edit the document or do anything with that document are slim to none, right? So you need to make sure that you remember and know this password all the times, because even if you go back to Adobe and say, you put this password in and you want Adobe to unlock it, Adobe won't be able to do it because you are the one who owned the document now, and you're the one who decided that password. So point is, just make sure that you use a password that you can recall, so that you don't lose access to this document yourself, right? So that's the password you're using today. And all you need to do is hit apply. And now you can see the document is secured. You see the word secured on the top of the screen. And it also gives you a confirmation at the bottom. It says the file successfully protected for viewing using password. The one thing that I want to do here is I want to save this file. So either you can save it or save as. It depends on how you want to do it. Maybe you want to save it as another document or just overwrite that, right? So pre-decide that, and then I'm going to show you how this is going to behave. So that's all you need to do basically to protect the document. But I'm going to show you how it's going to work and behave. So if I open up this document again, it says this document is protected. Please enter the document open password. And if I type in a random password, of course, it's going to say, no, that's not the right one. Make sure that you're typing the right password, right? So I'm gonna do the simple password that I did for the purpose of this demo, and I would be able to open the document back again, right? So that's how easy it is. Let's take it to the next level, because now what we want to do is click on protect the PDF again and click on protect with password. But this time what I want to do is, rather than putting a password on viewing the document, maybe the situation is that this is going to be a public facing document or report, I don't know, maybe some sort of financial document, and you want to disable the capability of the public to be able to edit and misrepresent this information, but you would want them to be able to view the document without any password, right? Because you don't want to, you can't really share the password with anybody and everybody out there to be able to view it. So the option that you want to choose here, so that the users are able to view the document without password but not edit it, is the second option, editing. I will go through the simple option again, the simple password again, and I can simply retype the password, hit apply. Oops, I think I typed it wrong. Let me do it one more time. Okay, and okay, so it says the open and the, okay, basically it says the open and the viewing, sorry, the viewing and the editing passwords can't be same. So if you're putting both the passwords in for viewing and editing, you need to make sure that they are different passwords, right? But what we want to do here is, I want to remove the viewing password restriction first of all, because I'm working with the same document. You don't have to do it if you're working with a new document, right? You would simply go ahead and apply that. But for the purpose of this, because I'm working on the same secure document that I put the password for viewing, I want to remove the password first. So let's also this is a good information. Let's also see what is it that you need to do to remove the password or remove the security from a document that has already been applied a security on. So you'll go into protect a PDF again, right? So you open up that secure document, you go into all tools, you go into protect a PDF, and then you click on the option which says set security properties. And this is the option that is going to let you control and disable any of the security applied, right? As long as you know the password, of course. So you will click on this drop down and you'll say the security method right now is password security, but what I want to do here is I want to change it to no security. And then it says, are you sure you want to remove security from the document? Which is fine. That's exactly what I want to do. And say okay. And now if I save the document, close the document, and try to open it up again, you will see that this time it does not ask for any password, right? So that's how you basically apply and remove encryption or security from a document. Let's have a look at the third scenario that we were talking about, which is how do you apply the password for editing only? Same process. open up the document, click on all tools, click on protect a PDF, which is the option here on the left, and you will click on protect with password, click on editing because you're putting the password for editing, and we're gonna type in the same boring password again for the purpose of this demo and hit apply. And I'm going to save and close the document. And this time, if I go back again and open up the same document, you see it doesn't ask for the password for opening it up, although you can see the word secured on the top of the screen. So there is security applied, of course, but you don't really need the password for viewing the document, right? But only when you try to edit anything out here. So, say I'm wearing the hat of one of the recipients of the document, maybe like a part of the public who is trying to download this document from your official website, and I can see the document really well, so that's all good. But as a user who doesn't own the document and who shouldn't be editing the document, if I try to click on edit, the moment I do this, it says, oops, you know what? There is a password applied on this document by the owner. So if you're the owner or if the owner has shared the password with you, type that password in so that you get the capability of editing the document. If not, then you won't be able to do it, right? So only if I type in that password correctly, I should be able to go ahead and edit the document and make changes to whatever I want to do, right? If you want to know how do you edit the document, I've also done another video dedicated to editing the documents in Adobe Acrobat Pro. Again, the link will be up here somewhere on the top right hand side. Click on the link, review the playlist or the series of videos that I've created on Adobe Acrobat for you to become more productive and save time. So review that. But coming back to our topic, so that's basically how you apply the password for viewing and editing. But you know what? Let's take it to one more next level because I want to show you something really cool. So first of all, because this is the same document, I'm going to go back there and remove the security. So protect the PDF. To remove the security, if you guys remember, what do I click? I click on set security properties. Or you know what, you can even click on the there's a dedicated button which says remove security. So you can also click on that, and it is also going to help you remove the security from the document, so which is really helpful. So you can do this, or you can click on set properties, set security properties, and change it to no security. So depending on what you find easy, just go ahead and do that. And that's how you again would be able to remove the security. But now what I want to do is I want to take it to the next level. So go to all tools and go to protect the PDF. But this time when you click on protect with password, you see right now you only get two options, which is viewing and editing. But what if I want to take it to the next level where I want to control? When I say you're not allowed to edit the document, what do I mean by that? Can I customize the behavior of what all things I'm allowing you as a user to do on the document without a password, but what all things I would want to restrict and would want you to have to put in the password if you're trying to do that, right? Because editing the document is a very big category. Editing a document could be filling up the form, right? Editing a document could also be in the category of commenting because you're putting some comments, right? So maybe there's this world where this is a form that you created with some confidential information. Oh, I shouldn't say confidential, but like the information that you would not want the users to change, but at the same time you want the users to be able to fill the form, right? Because if you put the password on the whole thing, then the users would not even be able to interact with the document and fill the form, right? And you wouldn't want that, right? So how do you customize the editing capability which is being encrypted and which is not being encrypted? You can do that simply by clicking on the advanced options button on the bottom of the screen. Click on this advanced options and then choose encrypt with password. Either you can do this and it says, do you want to change Are you sure you want to change the security? I'm fine. Yeah, I'm sure doing that. So either you can take that route, which is a longer route, which is basically you go to all tools, protect a PDF, protect with password, and then click on advanced options, and then click on encrypt with password. So that's a longer route to see this window. Or you can take a shortcut and click on this button which says encrypt with password under the advanced options on the left hand side. If you do that, it's going to take you directly to that window without asking you so many steps, right? So let's click on that, say yes to this, and you get to see the same window back again. Now, what is this window? This window, let's talk about this window a little bit, right? Because this window is nothing but the same thing that you saw in an expanded form, right? And let me explain you why. So you saw there were two options. One was, hey, do you want to put a password on viewing the document, or do you want to put a password on editing the document? So consider this section that you see on the top of the screen as the option number one, which is if you enable this option which says require a password to open the document and put the password in and say okay, you're putting the password for viewing the document. That's as simple as that, right? Or consider the second category or the second column as that option number two, which was basically the option for putting a password on editing the document. But now, rather than simply saying, yes, I want to put a password on editing, or no, I don't want to put the password on editing, you're expanding that capability into further drop downs and capabilities that you can enable or disable. And let's jump right into this and see what do I mean by that, right? So if I click on restrict editing and printing of the document, so what it basically, like, of course, what the sentence says, it's going to restrict the editing and printing of the document, and the password will be needed for somebody to change these permissions. But now I can drill down and I can be specific and I can say, you know what? I don't want people to change anything, so the changes allowed should be none, but maybe I should allow people to be able to print the document, right? So I don't want them to be restricted to print the document. They should be able to do it, or they should be able to do it on low resolution so that they can't reproduce the document and use it to their advantage. So it's only for them to review like a rough copy. That's the situation I'm in. I can select that option in here in the drop down, or I can do the opposite. I can say, no, they're not allowed to print, but they're allowed to change the documents. But when I say they're allowed to change the document, I also get to choose what level of changes and what level of editing I'm allowing to be done without the password, right? So for example, I can say, you know what, the user should be able to insert, delete, and rotate pages. I don't know, there could be a scenario in the world where you would want to do it. I can't think of it, but if there is, just know that there is this option out there. I can definitely relate with this option number two, which is filling in the form and signing the document, right? So maybe this is a form, like the example that I gave you guys before, that this is a form that you want the users to fill in, but you do not want them to be able to edit the form and misrepresent the information, right, somewhere else. So you put a password and then you choose this option and you say the changes allowed is filling in the form fields and signing the document, but everything else, if they try to do that, they would be asked for the password, right? So that's the power of customizing this, and that's why you should care about it. Maybe there's the section where, apart from filling in the form, they should also be allowed to comment. Now, PDF documents can be used for collecting review, feedbacks, commenting, and collaborating with people. And it's a very powerful tool. I have also made another dedicated video on how you can use Adobe Acrobat and PDF documents to collect feedback and comments from multiple stakeholders on one single place. If you haven't seen that video, again, please go to the playlist that you see, the link that you see on the top right hand side, the I button. Click on that, you will see that video about commenting and reviewing the document with your stakeholders and with other parties, and how you can do that, right? let's say that's the kind of document that you're working with, and you want the users to be able to comment and fill the form, but not really change anything else. You choose this option, right? So you get the idea. So there are different options out here that you choose and enable depending on what kind of situation you are in, rather than taking a blanket approach and disabling all kind of edits on the document, right? So say in my situation, I do not want any changes, but I want people to be able to print the document in high resolution, right? So maybe that's what I want to do. The next thing that's really powerful here is you can either enable or disable copying of the content from the document, right? So maybe it is a concern for you for that you do not want the users and the recipients of the document to copy the information and reproduce the content in their own presentation or whatsoever. You just want them to be able to view and consume the document, but not really copy and paste the information somewhere else. And you want to disable that. You will simply disable this by disabling this checkbox. And then if you disable this, of course, the users would not be able to copy the document or images or any other content, right? So that these are all the options that you would have. You can choose and you can decide what level of editing restrictions or printing restrictions you want to apply. And then, of course, you will put the password in again. Try and make sure that the password is not weak, as I'm using in the demo today. If you want, you can take another step and kind of decide the compatibility. If you want the older version compatibility, I'm fine with the Adobe X and later, Adobe 10 and later. And then I want all the document contents to be encrypted, which is great. And I'll just say OK, press OK, put that password again so that I confirm to Adobe that I remember the password. And once I've done that, I will save the document, hit save, close the document, and I will open up the document back again. Again, when I open it up, you see the words secured on the top of the screen, and you see that it does not ask me for viewing the document. It doesn't ask for the password for viewing the document. But if I try to click edit, it's going to say, no, you're not allowed to edit the document. But because we enable the printing capabilities, we enable that. So I can go to file and I can go to print, and I should be able to print the document to my liking. So which is all great. And what I also disable, if you remember, I disabled the copying of the content. So if I try to select the document or the content and do a right click, you see how the copy is disabled. So it does not let me copy the content or reproduce this content in my own way. It's not just a right click. Even if I try to do like a Control C or Command C on a Mac and try to paste it, it does not let me copy this content because I disabled this, right? So that's all there it is in the protecting of the PDF documents. It is such a powerful tool. It can make sure that your confidential and important data gets secured and stays secure all the time. So I would highly encourage you to review all the steps if you need to. But that's all that we had to discuss about protecting the document. If you like this video, please click on the like button. Use the comment section to ask any questions that you might have about your situation, or if you have any suggestions about the next video that I should be doing. I am going to do another video on how do you go about redacting the document, right? Redaction is another powerful security feature of Adobe Acrobat, and it's about removing part of the document that you see confidential, you find confidential. And before you reproduce and share that document with somebody else, you want to make sure that confidential information is not only hidden, it's not only, I see people taking this practice that they will put some sort of black rectangle on top of the numbers or pictures and think that that's hidden and that's gone. It's not the right practice, because anybody without Adobe Acrobat Pro would be able to edit the document, remove that black rectangle, and see the content behind it. So it's important for you and everybody to understand that the proper way to redact the information or remove the information permanently is using the redaction tool, which is exactly what we're going to discuss in the next video. So please hit that subscribe button in the bottom of the screen in my channel to be able to see the following videos. Until then, thank you. Bye bye. Take care.